Hi everyone, welcome back to another Napa STEM Academy art lesson. Today we're making a salt dough project we can use to celebrate Earth Day. In this project, we'll be using fine motor and hand-eye coordination development to mix, squeeze, and roll dough. Cognitive skills in a kitchen project that encourages problem solving and creativity, and community awareness by loving our planet in celebration of Earth Day. Before we get started, let's learn a little bit more about the project we're going to be working on. Dough is a thick mixture of flour or meal and a liquid such as water or milk that is prepared for baking into bread, cake, or the like. Conservation talks about the protection of natural resources, such as soil, water, or forests, from loss, pollution, and waste. What is the environment? The environment is everything that surrounds a particular type of living thing and affects its growth and health. We are celebrating Earth Day today, so what does the word celebrate even mean? To celebrate is to do special things to honor a person or an occasion or to express happiness concerning some event. For us, it's our planet. So let's learn a little bit about Earth, the place we call home. Earth is referred to as the blue planet. Earth looks blue because from outer space, the oceans and atmosphere combine to make our planet look blue. The Earth is the third planet from the Sun and the only astronomical object known to harbor life. According to radiometric dating and other evidence, Earth formed over 4.5 billion years ago. Earth's gravity interacts with other objects in space, especially the Sun and the Moon. So Earth is cool and all, but why do we celebrate Earth Day? The founder of Earth Day, Gaylord Nelson, came up with the idea for a national day to focus on the environment after he witnessed the terrible effects of a massive oil spill in Santa Barbara, California, which took place in 1969. The very first Earth Day was on April 22, 1970, and is now an annual event celebrated around the world, demonstrating support for environmental protection. So today we're doing a salt dough activity. So let's talk a little bit about why the science of salt dough works. The main purpose for having salt in the dough mixture is to form a solid basis around the flour particles when it has dried. Once the water has dried and the mixture has been kneaded, it leaves the salt behind, which holds all the flour particles together, making what we know as salt dough. Now that we've listened and learned, let's get our hands dirty. The materials you'll need for this one are 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of salt, 1.5 cups of warm water, a large mixing bowl and a large spoon, a rolling pin, a small heart-shaped cookie cutter, or if you don't have one, you can cut out your own heart shape, some parchment paper, a cookie sheet for baking, some paint for decorating or add food coloring into your dough, and some string or twine. Before we begin making our dough, we'll need to preheat our oven to 325 degrees. Next, in a bowl, start with your dry ingredients, 4 cups all-purpose flour and 1 cup of salt. Mix well. Once your dry ingredients are combined, you can begin gradually adding your 1.5 cups of warm water in between stirring, until you have a solid, large ball of dough. If you plan on painting your salt dough, skip this step and go straight to step 5. If you are going to use food coloring to color your dough, divide the dough into 2 or 3 equal parts. Put them in separate bowls, choose the colors you want, add the food coloring to the dough, and mix it in. Step 5. Take your dough out of the bowl with flour on your hands and knead gently. After you've kneaded the dough, roll it out flat on a floured surface to about 1/4 of an inch thick. Step 7. Use your heart-shaped cookie cutter and push it into the dough. If you're using a knife, be careful when cutting out your heart shape. Step 8. Use a toothpick or straw to make a hole at the top of your heart. Make sure the hole you make is the right size for your string. Step 9. Place parchment paper down on your baking sheet, just like you would when making cookies. Step 10. Bake for 1 hour. They should be firm to the touch, but make sure you're careful not to burn yourself. After you take them out, let them cool. Then, paint and decorate. let them dry, and then hang them up. As an optional step, you could put a clear coat or Mod Podge over the top for shine. Ready for a challenge? Make your own cookie cutter. Don't have a heart-shaped cookie cutter? Maybe you have a different cookie cutter, but it's not the exact shape you want. If so, use a knife to cut any shape of dough you like after rolling it out. If needed, use an aid to help cut specific shapes. Create a stencil out of cardboard or plain paper for simple shapes like hearts, shamrocks, eggs, and flowers. Let's talk about how you and me relate to Earth Day. What are some ways you could show love to the Earth today? How can we plan to take good care of Earth long term and leave it better than we find it? If you want to add a fun extension to your activity, make a necklace out of salt dough by using a smaller circle or any shaped cookie cutter and putting a tiny hole using a toothpick at the top for hanging the string. If you have a kinder through second grader, consider teaching them how to measure the ingredients and how to knead the dough. Have them help flour the area and roll the dough out. Parents should do the baking and then have them paint once the dough is cooled. If you have a third through fifth grader, consider letting your kids do most of the work, but help with the hot oven and the baking process. We hope you had fun making this art activity and that you have a great Earth Day. We'll see you next week with another art activity.